Hello, 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 everybody. So nice to see you all coming into the room. Welcome to today's exciting Daily Antidote of Song. It is day 1061. Thank you, Carolyn in Boise, for the reminder. And today is the first time in a while that we have been lucky enough to be having another one of our beautiful archive challenge sessions with the amazing Jennifer Cutting and Steve Winick and Figgy the cat from the American Folklife Center, Library of Congress. Today is a day when we are exploring the beauty of the Folklife Center's archive, and by having one of our artists take one of the songs and sort of do it in their own style. And so joining us today for that amazingness is Alex Cumming. And so Jen and Steve are going to introduce more about all of this and introduce Alex. I'm going to say hello to everybody in the room. First, can you all please help me wave hello to everybody out there on Facebook Live? Hello, Facebook Live. Great to see you. Thanks for being here today. And then a hello to everybody in the room. Hello, of course, to Steve Winick and Jennifer Cutting, coming in from Tacoma Park, Maryland. Hello to Alex Cumming, coming in from Brattleboro, Vermont. And Jaden Brick coming in from Silver Spring, Maryland, running the tech for us today. Hi, James Harkless. Nice to see you today, coming in from Maryland. Hello, Jerry. Not sure where you're coming from, but really glad to see you today. Hello to Christiana and Bob in Rockville, Maryland. Hi to Deborah in Kentucky. Bob and Mabel Bears in Massachusetts. Hello, Flawn, coming in from the DC area. Glad you're here today. Nice to see another reveler and another Steve and Jen fan in the room. Hello to Brian Noonan. Nice to have you with us today. Thanks for being here. And Alan Haberly, nice to see you today. Glad to have another reveler in the room. Sheila in Florida, great to have you. Dan in Vienna, Virginia, hello. Hi to Pauline in Newcastle, UK. Peter Amadon is in the house. Another Brattleboro person and another one of our fabulous singer, song leader folks. Lovely to see you, Peter. Gary in Massachusetts, nice to have you. Susan G in Ohio, hello. Arlene in California. Linda, nice to see you. Trish in Victoria. Bonnie in Boise. Hello, Alan. Nice to have you today. Not sure where you're from, but glad you're here. Carolyn in Boise, Idaho. Doug in Underhill, Vermont. Lovely to see you again. We've missed you. Hello to Bob in Albany. Nice to see you today. Hello to Cricket in Maryland. Susan in Seattle. Amanda and Miles in Michigan. Luda in Victoria with some love for everybody. Hello to Kathy in McLean, Virginia. Julie in Ontario. Ann in Silver Spring. Hello, Cassie. Not sure where you're new from, but nice to have you with us today. Jamie in Victoria. Penny and Ralph in Victoria. Linda in Orcas Island. Phil, who is coming in from Cork, Ireland. Nice to see you today, Phil. Happy travels. Curly Tops Willard in the room from Vermont. Carol in Connecticut. Storm in Mass. Nancy's Irish Cow in Washington State. Fred in Silver Spring. Kevin in DC. Hello, Rob. Nice to have you with us today. Not sure where you're from, but glad you're here. Hoda in British Columbia. Martha in Oregon. Tom and Amy in Philly. Hello and hello. Bronwyn in Victoria. Lots of folks off camera today. Very quickly, I'll say Archie and Hindi in Toronto. Hello, Aloysius in Massachusetts. Juicy and Dorian Ollie in Rhode Island. Deli, Marcia Dale, Suzanne in Maryland. Lois, Jody, Loriana and Kachina and Courtney, Marie, Kate, Jenny in Suffolk, Lori, Dick and Kathy coming in from Victoria, also song leaders in the room. Field, Stephanie, Hindi, Ann, Carolyn, Karen in Oregon, Janet, Jan, and I hope I got everybody. If we missed you, we'll get you on the goodbye end. Everybody, let's take one deep breath. And I'm going to turn it over to my fabulous, amazing, beautiful friends, Stephen Winick and Jennifer Cutting. Guys, thanks so much for bringing this great day to us.
Thank you, Joe. Can everybody hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up. Yay! Hey to everybody in Facebook land and Zoom land. I'm Jennifer Cutting, and this is my colleague and partner in crime, Stephen Winick.
Hi.
And though Steve is a folklorist, and I'm trained as an ethnomusicologist, both of us are called folklife specialists at the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress here in Washington, D.C. And we want to welcome you to the first of 5 Archive Challenge Thursdays on the Daily Antidote of Song, when the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress will partner with Carpe Diem Arts to bring you a brand new, well, I'd say new, it's an old archival gem in new trappings every Thursday in March.
Yeah, so we're, as Jennifer said, we're both folklife specialists at the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress. Now, the Library of Congress was established back in 1800, so it is officially the oldest federal cultural institution in the United States. It's the first cultural institution set up by the federal government. And it's also the largest library on planet Earth, which is kind of a cool thing that we work in there every day. So our division, the American Folklife Center, is just a very small part of the library. We are a staff of just about 30 people in a library with a staff of just about 3,000. So we're 1% of the Library of Congress. We're small, but we're mighty.
But we do a lot of things. In addition to maintaining an archive of over 6 million items, we answer your reference questions when you email and call us. We produce concerts and lectures and symposia and blogs and podcasts. And we hope you tune into all that after you hear our presentation today. One of the funnest things we do is the Archive Challenge, where we invite artists to learn a song from our collections and to put their own spin on it. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about that and about today's featured field recording soon. So we hope you have time to stay with us for a few minutes after Alex sings. But we wanted you to hear some music as soon as possible. So let us introduce today's guest, Alex Cumming. He is a traditional singer, accordionist, love, 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 pianist and dance caller who comes from Somerset, England, and is now based in Brattleboro, Vermont, and right here in the U.S. So he performs songs and tunes from both the U.K. and the U.S., and along with solo performances and dance calling work, Alex is a member of so many different concert bands and dance bands it would make your head spin. He's a very busy guy. In addition to all that, he's done television work too. He starred in primetime TV shows like the BBC's Edwardian Farm, which I think we get here on our PBS affiliates. He's played live sessions for BBC Radio. He is currently the program director for Country Dance and Song Society's English Dance Week at Pinewoods.
No longer.
Like I said, he's a very busy guy. So luckily, he found time in his busy life to listen to a lot of our field recordings, to sift through them and choose one that he was going to teach us today. Alex, over to you.
Oh my goodness, it's one of the worst parts of the job is hearing someone introduce you. If you watch Edwardian Farm, you might not recognize me because I used to be a Pierrot clown, so I'm all painted up with a silly outfit and stuff. The only thing that gives me away, I think, is the accordion, but you know. Yeah, we're going to sing a song. We'll learn much more about it in a minute. But it's from the singing of Jim and Bob Copper, who we'll learn more about in a minute. But it's a song of spring. This is why it sort of took to me. And in parts of America, it's already springtime. In parts of America like Vermont, it's very much not springtime. So this is more of a song of hope and excitement for spring. So I'll sing the chorus to you. You can sing it back in little bits. It's a very satisfying start to a chorus. It's great. The primrose blooms and the cowslip too. Do you want to try that? The primrose blooms and the cowslips too. That's the easy bit. Good luck. May the force be with you for the rest. It goes, the violets in their sweet retire, the rose is shining through the briar. Just get an idea of the tune because you have the words written down. This is one of the benefits of this whole thing. Try that. The violets in their sweet retire, the rose is shining through the briar. And now one of the best words in English folk song. And the daffadown-dillies that we admire. Try that. The daffadown-dillies that we admire will die and fade away. Will die and fade away. Let's try it all together. The primrose blooms and the cowslips too. The violets in their sweet retire, the roses shining through the briar, and the daffadown-dillies that we admire will die and fade away. Doink. All right, thumbs up, happy? Good enough. It's a folk song. It's a chorus song. You got this down by now, by however many days you're in now. So you know choruses keep appearing. If you want to join in with the verse, I just wish you good luck, because the verse changes every single time in terms of melody and length. So you can try, see what happens. It's the same for me. I'll try and see what happens. Here we go. Oh, let me make sure I've got all these looking lovely. Okay, there we go. When spring comes in, the birds do sing, the lambs do skip, the bells do ring, while we enjoy their glorious charm, so noble and so gay. The primrose blooms and the cowslips too, the violets in their sweet retire, the roses shining through the briar, the daffadown-dillies which we admire will die and fade away. Young men and maidens will be seen on mountains high and meadows green. They will talk of love and sport and play, and these young lambs do skip away. At night they homeward wend their way, when evening stars appear. The primrose blooms and the cowslips too, the violets in their sweet retire, the roses shining through the briar, the daffadown-dillies which we admire will die and fade away. Morris dance time. Dairy maid a milking goes, her blooming cheeks as red as the rose. She carries a pail all on her arm, so cheerful and so gay. She milks, she sings, and the valleys ring. The small birds on the branches there sit listening to this lovely fare. She tends her cows with trust and care. She sings with heart and joy. The primrose blooms and the cowslips too. The violets in their sweet retire, the roses shining through the briar. The daffadown-dillies that we admire will die and fade. Oh, one more time. The primrose blooms and the cowslips too. The violets in their sweet retire, the roses shining through the briar, and the daffadown-dillies which we admire will die and fade away. There we go. Well sung.
Well, my dream has come true today because I've always loved. Oh, I'm muted, I think.
Oh no, we can hear you.
We're not muted.
We're not
Can you
muted.
hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my dream has come true today because not only did we hear a great Copper Family song, but I'm an accordionist. We got to hear a Copper Family song with wonderful piano accordion accompaniment. So thank you, Alex.
I mean, English folk
Fabulous.
song and accordion, only the coolest people do it, Jennifer.
Good to know. That boosts my self-esteem. Thank you. So I thought we'd give you a little bit of, not too much, but just a little bit of background on this song and this collection. So the voices that you're going to be hearing when we play you the field recording are the voices of Bob Copper and his father Jim Copper, part of the famous unaccompanied singing Copper family of Rottingdean, Sussex in England. And we can bring up a photo of the Copper family so you can see the Copper family at one point in time. There they are. And the way that American folklorist Alan Lomax got this recording, among others, is that he was collecting in England and Wales on and off from 1951 to 1958. And the first year that he was there, he made copies. He went into the BBC archives and made some copies of some discs that they had made. Probably he was thinking ahead about using them on an album series he was doing for Columbia Records, the Columbia World Library album series. And if we could bring up the cover of the England album from the Columbia World Library series. Anybody have any of these in your old vinyl collection?
They were reissued on CD by Rounder in the 90s, so they're people have them on CD as well. And there's an interior shot of the gatefold for that, Joe, if you can find that. And the reason we want to show that is you can see if we do get that up. We're not seeing it, or oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Is that you can see that same picture of the Copper family that we just showed you is there in the gatefold. So indeed, that's what Alan was doing, grabbing those recordings for Columbia Records. So there's the Copper family in that second column, close to the left. That's the same photo. So the Copper family had been known to English folk song enthusiasts since the 1890s, since 1898 actually, when a woman named Kate Lee met James and Thomas Copper and heard them sing. And she was so enthusiastic that she had them write their songs down for her, and then she went off and helped to found the Folk Song Society. So the Coppers' songs were published in the very first issue of what is now called the Folk Music Journal. It was then the Journal of the Folk Song Society. And those first Copper brothers were inaugural honorary members of the Folk Song Society. So the Copper family has been part of that society since the beginning. Now, James Copper, whose nickname was Brasser, had two sons, John and Jim. And in 1949, Jim was listening to a BBC home service program called Country Magazine, and he heard someone sing a Copper family song, that they'd gotten out of the journal. As he later said, they got the words a little wrong. So he wrote to the presenter, whose name was Francis Collinson, and Francis Collinson then went down to Rottingdean in Sussex and recorded several songs from Jim and Jim's son Bob and Jim's nephew Ron. And the other man in the photo that you saw was John, who was Jim's brother and Ron's dad. So it was two brothers and their two sons, who were then first cousins, of course. And so this led to Bob Copper becoming a song collector for the BBC in his own right and a featured guest on the Sunday morning radio program As I Roved Out, which was really important to English folk song in Britain at that time. And it was broadcast in 1953 and 1954. And the Copper family has continued to be a big force on the English folk scene, even despite Bob's death in 2004. So younger members of the family now continue the tradition of Copper family songs. And they're somewhat remarkable for singing in harmony, which is not that common in the English folk tradition. Generally, folks sing, it's monophonic, right? You have one singer singing a song. And in this case, and in some other family cases, there are harmonies involved as well. So Jen is going to tell you a little bit about the song.
Yeah, so the song that Alex chose as he was sifting through the field recordings in our archive, in our digital archive, because he listened to them online, as you all can do as well. So the song that Alex chose, When Spring Comes On, was actually recorded by the BBC a few years before that As I Roved Out episode. It was recorded in 1951. And we thought that now you've heard Alex singing his version with the piano accordion, you might like to hear the original field recording that Alex learned the song from in our archive. So if we could roll that, here's the Coppers singing When Spring Comes On.
Birds do sing, the lambs do skip, and the bells do ring, while we enjoy their glorious charm, so noble and so gay. The primrose blooms, and the cowslip too, the violets in their sweet retire, the roses shining through the briar, and the daffadown-dillies which we admire will die and fade away.
So you can hear this recording, all of you, as many times as you like after we sign off today. That's the beauty of it, because it's online at our partner, the Association for Cultural Equities, Alan Lomax's digital archive. We have the collection, but they administer the rights to the collection, and they've put a great deal of the post-Library of Congress, Alan Lomax collecting career online on their website. And here is the link.
So that's in the chat, and you can find that. You can go there and grab that song and then explore the rest of the Copper family's material that's in that collection, and of course the rest of Alan Lomax's collections that are up there. So that's a major resource, thousands of recordings up there, but not that many are English. But this was a beautiful example. And another thing that I'll mention is that we featured this song in a podcast about spring songs that I hosted for the Library of Congress. So we can get another link, I think, into the chat. There we go. So that's an international podcast that has songs from other traditions as well, but this song is in it, so that's kind of fun. So you can download that and hear that as well.
So, Alex, back to you. Let's talk a little bit about your process of listening through Alan Lomax's England and Wales recordings. You must have listened to a lot of songs. But there was something about this one that popped out for you and sparkled a little bit. What was it exactly that appealed to you about this song?
Well, there's lots of different things, but coming from England, the Coppers have always been a sort of like a really fond part of my sort of like learning about folk song. And many people won't know, but for about a decade, I was part of a 4-part harmony singing group, which was just all a cappella, no instruments, called the Teacups. And that kind of sound of the Coppers was like a real inspiration into kind of like the real raw, rich sound of folk singing that could be done with sort of really beautiful harmonies. And like you heard in that source recording, like it's just 2 people in that recording, but it's a really nice, rich sound together. It's not over complex, but it's also, beautiful. So I kind of, as soon as I saw there was some Copper family on there, this was about 20 minutes into listening through a bunch of crazy amounts of recordings, and I saw there was a bunch of Copper stuff. I was like, okay, here we go. So I felt a bit cheating because I know a lot of Copper stuff, at least sort of like peripherally. But it was a perfect excuse because I saw this song was on there and it was like, this is a really fun spring song. It just seemed to fit absolutely perfectly. I did listen to a bunch through, and there's some great recordings on the Lomax stuff, actually. There's a lot of really interesting interviews, which I didn't really have time to delve in massively, but listened to bits of interviews with loads of different singers and collectors. There's even, I think there's even a folk play by Ewan McCall on there somewhere hiding, which is, I'm going to actually sit down and listen to, which is kind of cool. So I got very distracted by all the not song stuff, which was not helpful for this project. But
Yeah, but
yeah.
don't you see that's exactly what we were trying to do is hook you into
Yes.
Oh yeah.
listening to
But
more of our
don't
don't
you
you
see
see that's
that's
We
exactly what
we gotcha.
you totally got me. But I am such a sucker for online archiving. I've already spent far too much time in your online archives. I do a project. I'm doing a project still about Olive Dame Campbell, and so like your online archives is, but also dangerous because this is a
Oh, we're glad that
self-motivated
you're
project.
already a researcher. Well, you will have noticed, Alex, that in the Digital Archive catalog where you got this, the song is called a Glee. And I just wanted to
Yes.
talk a little bit about Glees because these days in the United States, a Glee club, and there was even a television show,
Glee,
Glee.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
These days, a Glee club just means a co-ed men and women college singing group that sings light music of any kind. But back in 1761, when the Noblemen and Gentlemen's Catch Club of London was founded, it meant strictly a men's vocal group that was formed to sing catches, what catches are a kind of round, and this particular kind of English part song called a glee. And glees were a little more respectable than catches because catches could be a little bit dirty, a little bit naughty. And glees were socially acceptable. They were usually about the beauty of nature, which this one is, and other uplifting subjects like that, of some, socially redeeming quality. So
So you
these
can definitely tell it's
glees,
an all men's thing because nature, nature, nature. Oh, pretty dairy maid. Ooh.
yes,
Right.
yes, with her lovely skin and her
Yeah.
other lovely attributes, right? So these glees were composed mainly between 1750 and 1850, and there were so many clubs that existed to sing these things, and they would offer prizes to the best glee composers. And the US even jumped on the bandwagon in 1858 when they formed at Harvard University the Harvard Glee Club, and it's the oldest American glee club.
So yeah, there's thousands of recordings on the Cultural Equity website. There's thousands of recordings on the LOC.gov, Library of Congress website, and one of the things that we found was useful during the pandemic, particularly when it first started, was to give people the resources to do an archive challenge themselves. We'd been doing the archive challenge in various contexts for a few years at that point, asking people to learn and present versions of our field recordings. But we figured it would be cool to give people the resources to just do it at home since everyone was going to be spending a lot of time at home, right? And so we put together a blog post showing people where our recordings live online so that they could find them and giving them some advice on how to do an archive challenge, which exists primarily on social media, right? So in this format, you would record yourself singing or playing material from the archive in some kind of video or audio form that could then be placed online on social media. So we just put a link in the archive for that, in the chat rather, for that way of doing the archive challenge. And of course, we did that before we started our relationship with the Daily Antidote of Song, but this is another way that we facilitate archive challenges, is to do it right here on the Daily Antidote of Song with our great pal Joe Rossi, whom we'd known for years and years at that point. It's hard to believe how long we've known each other, Joe. And
And
so
we've known James Harkless a long
that's
time
right. That's
too through
that.
our work with the
Oh,
Washington Rebels, and we
oh,
just have to give James a shout out. He's here today, and we had been talking about the Harvard Glee Club. James was actually president of the Harvard Glee Club.
so there you go.
So a shout out to
He's
you,
not in
James, for that.
1869, surely.
Right.
So now that we know a little bit about the history of how Bob and Jim Copper got recorded singing this song, this Glee, why don't we end up our session today by singing this Glee one more time? We can sing part of it or we can sing all of it, whatever you and Alex are in the mood for.
All.
I'm always in the mood for
All
singing and
right.
singing and singing. So we'll do it. It's not a hugely long song, so should we just do it and see what happens?
Yeah,
And I'll
let's
get
do
rid
the
of
whole
all the
thing
Morris
because it's a
dance
great
nonsense.
song.
Yeah. I will note I did change the very last line of this whole song because it was all this pretty, but like Dairy Maid thing, and then it was got a bit ownershipy, like she was the farmer's pride and joy, and she was our owners, and blah blah blah. So I've changed it slightly to the original. So don't be shocked when you go and listen back to the original; it's a little different. But I quite like these new words. Jennifer's talking, but you know, I can't hear her sadly. But no, anything else you want to add? No worries. All right, let's do this song. Get yourselves ready. It's in the key of E major if you're playing along. Just to be really helpful. When spring comes in, the birds do sing, the lambs do skip, the bells do ring, while we enjoy their glorious charm, so noble and so gay. The primrose blooms and the cowslips too, the violets in their sweet retire, the roses shining through them briar. The daffadown-dillies that we admire will die and fade away. Young men and maidens will be singing on mountains high and meadows green. They'll talk of love and sport and play, while these young lambs do skip away. At night they homeward wend their way, when evening stars appear. The primrose blooms and the violet cowslips too, the violets in their sweet retire, the roses shining through the briar. The daffadown-dillies which we admire will die and fade away. Nice dancing, Deborah. Last verse. The dairy maid a milking goes, her blooming cheeks as red as the rose. Her carries a pail all on her arm, so cheerful and so gay. She milks, she sings, the valleys rings. The small bird on the branches there keep listening to her lovely fare. She tends her cows with trust and care. She sings with heart and joy. The primrose blooms and the cowslips too. The skylets in the sweet retire, the roses shining through the briar. Daffadown-dillies which we admire will die and fade away. The primrose blooms and the cowslips too. The violets in their sweet retire, the roses shining through the briar. The daffadown-dillies which we admire will die and fade away. And another
Thank you so much,
silent round of
Alex.
applause for Miles on the accordion.
Woo!
Oh, I loved seeing all the Morris dancing and the Miles playing his button accordion out there. All of you singing, there are instruments being played. I'll tell you what, the joy being expressed here today as you sang and played and danced along with Alex is going to carry me through my week until
Everyone
next
was
Thursday
full
when we see
of
you again.
Glee.
They were full of glee. They were singing a glee and they were full of glee.
And I'll tell you, the week between now and our next archive challenge on the Daily Antidote of Song is going to just give me time to get all of the Figgy cat hair off of my black trousers and vest today. Figgy has a beautiful white belly, and he likes to deposit his hair strategically on black clothing. So we're gonna but Figgy loved your performance, Alex. You could see him dancing along there, and I will let you know he was purring the whole time, even though he looked kind of uncomfortable because of, we can't really get him in the camera that easily, but he was purring and loved what you were doing. So
I
And
am
Suzanne
honored.
says she's in Maryland. She says she'll be singing to flowers in the garden and also to the little sprouts coming up. I want to let everyone know that my daffadown-dillies are blooming in my garden,
mine as well, yeah.
and I'm going to sing this song to them.
And my magnolia bloomed the other day, and I was terrified because last year the magnolia bloomed, and then the next day there was a huge freeze, and all the blossoms died. But today it held for a couple of days at least, so we're hoping for not a big freeze, and we can have some magnolia blossoms in the neighborhood as well. So yeah, so it was a perfect song for this week. It just, a lot of the early blooming is occurring just as this song says. So Alex, thanks so much for that performance. That was a lot of fun.
And I can't wait to hear your a cappella singing group. I'm going to look it up and figure out how to hear Teacup. So, gosh, there's a lot of people to thank. We want to thank Alex for participating in the Archive Challenge, coming up with such a great rendition. And what I was trying to say when I was muted and couldn't
Yeah.
unmute myself quickly enough was, you changed the last line, and we wholeheartedly appreciate and love that you did that, because that's what the Archive Challenge is all about. It's all about making an archival song your own, reimagining it and singing it your own way, and you did exactly that. So we want to
Perfect.
thank you for that, and we want to thank Joe Rossi, our indefatigable host here at Daily Antidote of Song, and the host organization Carpe Diem Arts for keeping this fabulous daily sing-along alive that recharges us and lifts our spirits so much.
We want to thank Jaden too, not only for helping host this, but we were dealing with some technical issues just before the show started, and she got us through those as well. So we want to thank Jaden for all her help. Wonderful to have you here.
We want to thank all of you regulars in Facebook land and also in Zoom land who regularly attend. And I'm just curious as to how many of you are here for the first time. Just put something in the chat or raise your hand so we can see. I sent this out to our Ocean Orchestra mailing list and posted to all kinds of Facebook pages. So I'd love to know.
All right, we have at least one first timer. Thanks, Cassie.
That's great. Thanks for joining us. And I see my former neighbor, Alan Ryan, in the audience too. Hi, Alan. First time, but we'll be back, says Marcy. Yay!
Hey, yeah, excellent. Thank you.
That's wonderful. It's a community, and it's a fabulous community. So thanks to all of you for choosing to be part of this community and for being with us today. And we wish you all a really lovely spring.
Thank you so much, Jen and Steve. That was really beautiful. I'm going to shout out Tom and Amy and Philly. We're also
Yeah.
as newbies.
Hi, guys. Wow, haven't seen you in a while.
Wow. Great to see
We
you.
invite any of the newbies to stay after we say the goodbyes. And once everyone drops, we'll unmute you and we'll let you introduce yourselves and maybe have a minute of chat with you, find out where you're coming in from. So please, if you're new, feel free to stick after we say goodbyes. And let's all give it up again one more time for the fabulous Alex Cumming. And of course, for the fabulous change of that line. So I say, like, in addition to the fact that, like, it's using the archive and making it your own, it's also like changing it in a way that makes, that sort of like recognizes the fact that our culture has changed and shifted and grown in the way we perceive things. And that when we can take the beautiful artwork with us, I think that's really significant and important. So thank you so much, Alex.
And thank you. I think it was Storm who came up with the great pun. They said that Figgy was putting on quite a show. And of course, Figgy's full name is Figgy Pudding. So that's a fabulous pun. Thank you.
Love it. Well, if you're looking for puns, you've definitely come to the right place because this is like the punster room of the century. Just give them a minute and the chat box will start to, like blossom. Get it? So there's my own lame attempt at it. All right. I want to thank you again, Alex Cumming. Please let's all give it up for Alex again. And of course, let's keep the hands up for Steve and Jen, Stephen Winick, Jennifer Cutting from the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress. So super to have you guys with us today. So links are in the chat. In addition to all about the song and all about the library, links are also in the chat for Steve and Jen's musical life, as well as, of course, more info on how to find out about Alex. We invite everyone out there on Facebook Live to always come in the room and join us here. You can find out more about what we do at the Daily Antidote by going to Carpe Diem Arts Daily Antidote of Song page and check it all out. So thanks again, everybody. Please help me wave goodbye to Facebook. Facebook, lots of love. And
bye, Facebook, folks.
And we're going to say goodbye, of course, to everybody in the room. Alex Cumming, thank you again. Can't wait to have you in the room with us soon. And thank you and have a nice day in the rest of have a nice rest of your day in Brattleboro. Thanks to Steve and Jen again, coming in from Tacoma Park, Maryland. And please help me, everybody, to wave everybody else out of the room. Jim Harkless in Maryland, thank you. Bob and Christiana in Maryland, thank you. Flawn in the DC area, thank you. Alan, also DC area, thank you. Sheila in Florida. Dan in Vienna, Virginia, thank you. Pauline in Newcastle, UK, thank you for being here. Gary in Massachusetts, thank you. Bonnie in Idaho. Carolyn in Boise, thank you, thank you. Doug, it's nice to see your face again coming in from Vermont. Thanks for being here. Bob in Albany, thank you. Cricket in Maryland and Susan in Seattle, thank you. Amanda and Miles in Michigan, great to see you both today. Luda in Victoria, thank you. Ann in Silver Spring and Cassie, thank you and thank you. We're glad you guys are here. Jamie in Victoria and Linda in Orcas Island and Phil in Cork, Ireland. So nice of you to bring Ireland into our room. Curly Tops in Vermont. Nice to see both of you, Alice, May, and Willard. Nancy's Irish Cow. Thank you for being here. Fred in Maryland and Kevin in DC. Rob in Silver Spring, thank you for being here. I think also new to us today. Martha in Oregon, Ann in Nashville, Kathy in McLean, Virginia. Hoda in British Columbia, thank you. Great to see your beautiful smile today. Marie in Washington, maybe that's state or city, I can't quite see. Glad you're here today. Dorian Ollie in Rhode Island, Aloysius in Westford, Mass. Suzanne in Maryland, Deli in Maryland. Jaden, thank you again for running beautiful tech today. Storm in Massachusetts. Dick and Kathy, there they are. They got their pajamas off and now we can see them. Nice to see both of you. Penny and Ralph and Victoria, glad you're here. John, nice to have you with us today. Maybe from Maryland, I don't remember. Archie in Hindi, Marcia, Jody, Lori, Jenny in Suffolk, UK, Field, Anne, Carolyn in DC, Karen in Oregon, Janet Stolnitz, Annette in California, Amos, Bob, Marcy. I think I got everybody. Thanks so much, gang, for joining us today here in the Daily Antidote of Song. And please come again next Thursday for our second of 5 Archive Challenge Thursdays. Thank you again. Bye, everybody.